Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for coming back to the Triotonic podcast. It's been a little while, but we've been making some moves and trying to figure out the next stage in the podcast. As you can see, we got some new lighting going on here.
Some high-tech lighting.
Yeah, and
this was the 2021 tech upgrade.
Yeah, the tech upgrade with our Trump and Biden dollars. So this is episode 32. The last time we started talking about a little more cryptocurrency and stocks and things like that. And I think that's kind of the direction that we're going in. Again, I just want to reintroduce myself. My name is Jose Rodriguez, and my co-host,
Andrew,
last name...
Carraro, I'll say it this time.
Last name omitted. Striked from the record. We wanted to talk a little bit more about that because it's kind of what we've been interested in. Mostly, so much has changed since the last episode that we were just talking about, like Dogecoin and cryptocurrency. So we want to get right into that. And what do you think? We've seen so much happen from that episode to now, like the Dogecoin hitting 70 cents.
Bro, and the shit hit like 70 cents. It went down to what, like 28 at one point. It went back up. And then, like, with all the crazy shit that we've seen, like, going on in the markets, the stock markets, like, this past, I would say 2 weeks, feels like some people might be, like, cycling out of crypto and going back into the markets.
Yeah, it feels like, you know what? Like, it's like people are finding what the thing is for the moment and just jumping on it, and everyone's just, like, jumping on the bandwagon, like, literally how that saying goes. And recently, that tends to be GameStop and AMC.
Yeah,
which we're also going to touch on. But it's crazy how fast things change because, like, crypto was going up so high. Ethereum hit 4,000, which was before the point, I was telling a lot of my friends, get into it, get some money. This is the time. It's riding up. And I feel bad because some of my friends put money in, but they just left it in. And now it went all the way down, and you didn't take any profits. That's not good for you. But I think the long-term health is going to be really good if they just stay the course and just wait. And a lot of these cryptocurrencies are bound to explode. So now they just got to wait. Now they're just stuck in there.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like like when you're caught up in the emotion of watching the charts, like I feel like sometimes like a day could seem like an eternity. But like if you look at crypto, like from the greater perspective, like pull back those charts a little bit, like early April it was at like 2000, like it didn't even hit 2000.
Even as more impressive than that, in January, like Ethereum, when I first invested in Ethereum, it was at 1100. So it's like
all the crypto
it's
action,
still up over 100%.
All the crypto action has taken place in 2021, and everyone's like, oh fuck, like it's done, it's over with, it's a sham.
You have like some friends sending memes, like kind of like trying to poke fun,
Yeah.
And some is just like funny, but some like they don't invest in crypto, so they think like like they see crypto going down. It's like a reflection on you for believing in it, But it's like you just missed an opportunity to make a lot of money. Like you're an idiot. Like
why do you think that is though? Like, because I feel the same way. Like if somebody like tries like picking at some of the shit that you invested in and it winds up like going down, you feel like it's almost like a personal attack.
I think that's an ego thing, but the thing is that when they send me that, I don't feel personally attacked. You just really it shines through. Like that's really what you're trying to do. Like like I made over triple my money on this, and you're laughing at me, and you didn't invest any money.
I'll never forget. I'm not going to name who it was, obviously. But it was right after, I think it was the first or second earnings report of Palantir. After they went public with a direct listing, and I bought like 50 shares. I told a couple other people, buy a few shares. I think it's gonna pop on earnings. It's a great company, like all the government contracts that they had and shit. They are fucking shady as hell, but I mean, like we're not in the market to.
Well, we're in the market, but
I was gonna say we're not in the market to be moral. We're in the market to make money, but then again, it's cool to like invest in some of that ESG shit like that everybody's doing right now. But anyways, so I think it shot down like 20% on the earnings day, and dudes are coming over to me like, ha 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 ha, can't win them all.
Can't win them all.
Yeah.
I think they just like to see, like, since they've taken some losses when someone else takes some losses, and you just be like, yeah, like exactly how they said you can't wear the ball.
Yeah, but then it's funny. I mean, you remember what happened? Like, I think it was like a week or two after that. The very next day, shot up, and it became a fucking meme stock. Shot up like crazy.
Yeah, and speaking of meme stocks, for people that aren't watching, you want to explain a little bit what people consider meme stocks?
Yeah, that's true. I guess that's an assumption that I have, that everybody knows what the meme stocks are. But basically, Wall Street Bets, the Reddit group, they have a few stocks that are always like have high message volume, high sentiment, and those got the name meme stocks. I guess because within the message groups, they were always making memes about the stocks.
Yeah. Some of the stocks that we're going to go over later too that we're interested in are considered to be high probability of becoming a meme stock too.
Yeah.
And some people
already
consider
are.
already. Yeah, some people consider already. So yeah, at the end of this, let me also say, I mean, I don't know why I said "oh" so loud, but oh, but we are not financial advisors, right? I think we have to say that.
We're not financial
even
advisors.
Even if we say to buy something,
just for entertainment.
Yeah, even if we say to buy something, it's because we're interested in buying it. I think we have to say that because we're not, we don't have our Series 7 and shit.
Yeah. Full disclosure though, we'll say what we're buying and what we're not. I mean, everything that I'm going to discuss, I have, my money behind. So
yeah. I hate saying that because it just seems like such a 2021 thing to say in a YouTube video.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not a financial advisor.
Yeah.
But you got to say it.
Yeah.
Just in case, someone puts 20,000 in fucking,
somebody winds up losing little Timmy's college fund.
Yeah, somebody,
and then you're the bad guy.
Meat and they go belly up.
But yeah, but to go back to where this all started, we kind of went off on a tangent there. There's been crazy ass volatility in crypto, and I think that, like you said, it's definitely a long-term investment at this point. Like the shit that I put into my Bitmart account, my Coin Metro account, and Coinbase, after that crash, I was like, look, I just got to stop watching this shit. It was driving me nuts. Like, the more you watch and the more you see your money disappearing, of course your emotions are going to get you and you're going to want to sell. You're going to be tempted to take that loss. And for me, being that I do believe it long term, I'm just going to set it and forget it.
Yeah. You got to, sometimes some people, what they do is they buy their long-term investments on a different platform and then just delete the app. I've seen that's a strategy that people do.
That's smart.
Yeah, same thing like Bitmart. Right now, I put some investments in Bitmart that I don't intend on taking out. I didn't want to flip it 100% and take it out, or 200. That's some stuff I want to let grow till it's 1,000%.
Yeah, absolutely.
God willingly that happens.
Yeah, universe sees fit.
Yeah. So. That I could delete that app right now and not worry about that, and that's a good way to do it. And
but just to touch on, because I mean, if people don't know what meme stocks are, there's a chance that some people don't know what Bitmart, what the advantages of all these platforms are. So there are some stock currencies that you can't get on the larger exchanges in the United States. So sometimes you have to go to other platforms. Bitmart is one of them, I think.
Crypto.com.
Yeah.
Pancake Swap.
Yeah. So
Sushi Swap.
Aren't those? I think they're just liquidity.
That one's okay.
Yeah, those are actually cryptos.
But aside from that, there are
FTX. There's that one, I think, in Hong Kong.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
But Binance, but that's a bigger one.
Oh yeah, Binance.
Yeah, Binance.
Voyager, Gemini, eToro. Anyways, so Bitmart is a platform, but what's good about Bitmart is that all these the Safe Moons, the Safe Stars, the Safe Mars, all every safe in the friggin' universe.
Ask Coin.
Yeah, there was that Elongate one that was on there.
Yeah.
So all those wild altcoins that have been kind of pumping in the message volume.
Shiba Inu.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everything that excuse me. Tagged on to the Dogecoin phenomenon.
So the good thing about that is you can jump on it early. Instead, you usually wait till it gets on Robinhood, and by that time you missed a good 10,000x jump
Yeah.
that made it relevant. You know, you wait till it gets relevant, you missed a huge jump. So if you jump on these coins early, like SafeMoon, if that shit hits 5 cents, I got money to buy a Lambo. You know how they say, like, Lambo
Yeah.
money.
Full disclosure,
You know?
we both own SafeMoon.
Yeah, we own SafeMoon. We definitely invest. I have over 20 million SafeMoon coins.
Yep.
But yeah, so you know, right now it's at 0.0. Well, I gotta check what it's at, but
Yeah.
you know, it's got a couple zeros in front of it.
Yeah,
so.
it's got like five zeros at this point, I believe.
Yeah.
But when that hits a penny, just think about that.
Yeah, and another drawback to, like, let's say Robinhood and PayPal just changed, but PayPal used to be like this. When you buy crypto on their exchange, you
I was gonna bring that up.
You can't take it off of, like, you can't own the coin and put it in a hard wallet.
Yeah.
So Bitmart, you could do that. It has a wallet address.
You can't pay with anything either.
Yeah, you can't pay with anything because it doesn't have the wallet address.
Yeah.
It just basically buys the crypto for
price
you and
exposure.
holds it. Yeah, and holds it for you. And I think they do that with the stocks too, right?
I don't think so.
No,
That I think. that-
Okay. All right. Well. But yeah, you can't, like, let's say they're working on it though. I think they're saying Robinhood's working on being able to transfer your crypto.
That will be a huge catalyst for them.
Yeah,
Especially with their IPO coming up. Actually, did you see that they have that new feature on their platform, the IPO access?
The IPO access, yeah. So when a company's setting up their stock exposure and they go public, there's an IPO, and they make IPO offerings. And it's kind of like a stage of it, people can invest money into when they go public. And then their access, have you done anything yet on the IPO?
So a friend of mine signed up. They've only done one company, Figs, the healthcare apparel company.
Yeah. It's like a bid style, right?
And you know how much of their overall float was allocated to Robinhood?
How much?
1%.
Damn.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
So my boy, he signs up for it, like, goes through the fucking loop, all the hoops they made him jump through, and day of, he gets a message. Sorry. Yeah, pretty much saying, bro, he was pissed. He was saying, like, bro, he's like, I did all this shit, like, then they're gonna tell me I can't buy shares. He's like, if I can't get shares on their IPO, I'm out of there.
So what was it? He offered too little money for his
because it's
bidding?
only 1%, and Robinhood has such a huge user base. Like, unless they're getting like a decent percentage of the float, like, or like it's just open and it's not allocated, and they can buy as many as they, as they get orders for. But otherwise, like, you're gonna have to, like, fucking set, like, notices and shit to get, like, the IPOs. You have to log in mad fast, put your bids in. It's gonna be crazy.
It maybe just seems like eyewash. Like they're just trying to look better. Like they're cutting edge and trying to do new things.
Oh yeah. Well,
at this stage anyway, until the
IPO.
Yeah, the IPO offerings. Yeah.
So anybody who's used Robinhood is another thing that they've done for their IPO. Anybody who's used Robinhood knows that up until this point, it's been fairly difficult to get any semblance of customer service whatsoever. Have you tried before?
No, I haven't, but I heard they just unleashed phone support, right? But for options only, right?
Yeah, for options only.
Trading.
But let me tell you this. So I put my issue in, and then gives you, like, this list. It says, like, your 10th in line, 17th in line. Basically the queue. It has, like, a little phone dancing around and shit.
Yeah.
And they called, and I basically had a question saying, like, because I know previously with their options, if you got executed on day of expiration, in their email reply to me, they said you're out of luck. Like, if your shit gets executed day of, like, your short leg on the your long leg on the bottom of the option that protects you against having to, like, actually buy the 100 shares, wouldn't be executed automatically. So I had some options expiring that day that were in the money. So I wanted to call and be like, look, like, I got the long position that should cover my short for the 100 shares of collateral. Mm-hmm. What's going on? So she calls me back. She was, like, pleasant as hell. I had, like, another, like, just vague ass question. I forget exactly what it was, but I just wanted to test her to see, like how's the service.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm not too sure. Let me get with my colleagues and I'll send you an email.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They just had fucking Bobby's mom.
Complete 180.
It's funny you ask that. I've been wondering that for a while.
Yeah, so like all this shit, they got the profit and loss chart now on the options. All the shit that they're doing just to pump up like their. Actually, you know, it's really good, but I don't know. I feel like it's too little, too late.
The theory of it is really good, but like the execution is still a little ways away.
Oh yeah, I mean, you had that outage. What was that only like a month ago? 3 weeks ago. Full half hour that like you couldn't get live market data or sell or buy any Doge on Robinhood's platform.
They've been fucking with the Doge.
Yeah, and then I mean, we're gonna jump the gun a little bit, but if you're still listening to us, you probably know a little bit about this at this point, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So everybody knows what happened with the GameStop stuff, like with Robinhood, like cutting that off. That in conjunction with this, like it just looks super shady. So many people have jumped off their platform for that reason.
Yeah, definitely. People jump off because it's just, you know, not ethical, like what they're doing. You could consider that. And, you know, you can't stand for that. You know, you can't let them get away with that and just keep your money with a company like that.
Yeah.
I obviously still have some money, but I took all my money out when that happened. And then slowly I put some money in. But I did go to other platforms that I use and put majority of my money there. But still, you know, I wanted them, you know, feel a little bit, you know.
Yeah. you gave them that punitive, like,
yeah.
I'm taking my
back.
ball and going home.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, it's just you can't stand for that. You know, especially like right now, people are anticipating this whole thing with
we should just talk
AMC.
about it.
Yeah, with AMC, there's the short squeeze coming. Some people say it hasn't even started yet.
MOASS,
yeah,
the mother of all short squeezes.
Yeah, MOASS. But yeah, there's people who say that they've called like Charles Schwab and they're talking to people there and they're saying that they haven't seen anything like it, and you know that it's gonna be like the biggest short squeeze of all time, and you know, like,
oh yeah, you watch some videos that people said that.
No, like in Reddit, you know.
Oh yeah.
And but you don't know, you know, people, you don't know who's actually doing what, who's just blowing steam up people's asses, you know.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, yeah, you're right. Like, there's a lot of like crazy shit,
like the opposite of FUD, you know.
Yeah, it's just like irrational fucking bullish sentiment.
Yeah, and there's people that don't know what FUD is out there. So if you hear people talking about FUD, what it is fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and basically just like the spreading of that news in order to like kind of blow the, you know, what do you call it, rain on the parade of like something that's really hot right now.
To get people to sell.
Yeah, exactly. And so what people think is there's a lot of people that are getting people to sell for their profits, so then it essentially helps the people that need to drive the price up to recover their losses. So it's like a whole like insidious game at this point. You know what I mean? So
well, I mean, even with like options, if you buy a put option or you sell a call, you don't want the stock to go up. So, I mean, I'm sure there's so many different agendas and ways that people want the market to go throughout all these huge hedge funds. Like everybody thinks like that GameStop and this whole AMC shit was just retail traders, but dude, like the amount of options that were being bought up, absolutely no way it was just retail traders. It was like 200, I think it was Thursday, there was 256 million call options bought on AMC. It's insane.
Yeah, no, and the crazy thing is those expire, right? Like a lot of people say they're expiring in June, right?
Well, yeah, there's one expiring June 4th, and there's another expiring June 11th. I think they have weekly options, so there's calls expiring every week.
But I'm saying, since those were taken in that week, that's like the volume of those, you know, a lot of them were taken are expiring soon, right? I mean, it depends. They could pick the date.
Yeah.
When you take the option, but
so when I read the article, it didn't say, you know, especially when the expirations were, because you can buy options like 2-3 years out.
Yeah, it's because I did read that the majority were expiring. Like I guess people that looked it up. You know,
yeah,
but for June 2nd. So
well, June 2nd is that shareholder meeting they're having.
Yeah. So yeah, they have like you were telling me that it's something about how they're gonna dissolve some shares or something like that, right?
Yeah. So like we were saying, like about like the opposite of FUD going around and shit. Like you hear like crazy shit going around on the internet. Like supposedly with naked short selling, like you could create synthetic shares. because if you're short selling naked, you never had the share.
Yeah. So actually, let's tell people what short selling is really fast. So basically, you have like when someone buys a stock, and then you have options, right? And then in options, you have a call and a put. And a call is when you think the stock is going to go up. So the equivalent when you buy a stock is like buying a stock. Like you think it's going to go up, so you buy a stock. Now an option, you have a put, which is when you think it goes down, so you can make money when the stock goes down. The only way to do that, like in the other realm, like when you buy a stock, is by shorting a stock.
Short selling.
Yeah, short selling is usually what you do is it involves a broker. They already have a portfolio with a stock. You borrow it, and that's naked, right? You don't actually own the stock.
Yeah. So if you're naked short selling, you never really borrowed it from anybody.
Yeah, so you take the stock, and then you have the money in your portfolio. Then it drops, and then you buy it back for $70, and then you end up with a profit of $30.
Yeah, because when you borrowed the shares, you sold them into the market at the current price.
Yeah, so that's basically what you do. So that's the only way, the opposite of like buying a stock. If you know it's going to go down, you short sell it, and then that's how you make some money. So that's what short selling is in a nutshell, but it's a little more complicated than that. But
that's pretty much it in a nutshell. But you could see why certain people would have, incentive for certain stocks to go down.
Yeah. So then what happens is, let's say if you buy that stock and it doesn't go down, and it goes up. Now this is how you create the squeeze, right? Because
so basically what happens is like how Jose just explained what short selling is. If it goes down, you get a profit. If the stock goes up, then you're screwed, because now you have to buy those shares back at a higher price than what you sold them for. So now you're negative.
And the danger of short selling is just like there's no potential. Oh, this is the thing with options. You have like, it's dangerous, but you have some limits of your
strike
exposure.
Pricing.
But now with short selling,
you could have infinite exposure options.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you could, but you know what you're getting into at that point, because you're not getting into options willy nilly. But the same thing, how you have no, like, if you buy a stock and there's no limit, like, if you buy a stock, there's no limit to how high it can go. I mean, obviously there's the world economy, but I'm saying you're
theoretically,
it could go up as much as you want and make as much money as you want.
Yeah.
Now, when you buy the stock and it goes down, all you can do is lose all your money that you paid for the stocks.
Yeah, it can't go negative.
But when you short sell, there's an unlimited amount of
loss.
Yeah, of loss. So now you can short sell a stock and you could be on the hook for like $200K. So that's the opposite.
So I guess what we're forgetting to explain here is the very basis of why that would work, and that's because of the simple nature of supply and demand. The more people buy a stock, the more it's in demand, the higher the price goes. So like if there's like say 8 shares of a slice of pizza, if there's 8 people here and the pie was $8, like everybody's just paying $1 for their slice. But then,
if you're at fucking Coachella,
and there's one slice of pizza, everybody's gonna be like, "I'll give you $20 for that fucking slice." Yeah. I'm starving.
Yeah, $20, and then the price drives up, and then that slice is just going everywhere, you know.
And so that's why stocks go higher in a nutshell.
Yeah, and then so now back to the short squeeze. So now you see these hedge funds that are short selling, and they're not short selling like fucking Uncle Jose over here, 2-3K, whatever, I got, in my little portfolio for that move. Yeah, I built up my portfolio, but, let's say for one move, if you were trying to make some money, you do 1K, 2K, something like that.
Yeah, you should never do more than 2% of your portfolio in any trade.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't have 100K in my portfolio, but, but sometimes you feel hot on something, you want to put some good money in, you'll do
sometimes you want to YOLO, and we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, so now let's say these hedge funds, they're doing 200K, 300K. So now you're short selling a stock, 300K. You can imagine now if that shit doesn't go down, they're going to have to buy back, it's going to be a lot of money.
And don't forget, like, not all of these short sellers are all covering these shares at the same time. They're not like coming together, holding hands and buying them all together. So say one hedge fund has to buy their shares up. Now, because all of those shares are getting bought up, the price is going exponentially higher. And it's like a positive feedback loop, because the more they have to buy back, the higher the price goes.
The demand grows for that stock because all the action going into it. So
And then you add the retail traders to this equation. And on top of that, you have what's called a gamma squeeze. Now, what a gamma squeeze is completely different from a short squeeze. Basically, market makers who sell these options that we were discussing earlier, if a stock keeps going higher and higher and higher, they will buy it just to cover their own risk, like to hedge their own risk.
Yeah.
And then that's obviously on the other end drives the price up because it's just more people buying. And you have these three things coming together, and it creates like a perfect storm of momentum for a stock. And that's what happened in January with GameStop, and that's what's happening now with AMC, supposedly.
That's what people are waiting on to happen. Yeah. And yeah, you know, like then you have those people like on Friday that were like, "Oh, $25. What happened?" You know, that guy. We gotta give that guy a name. We gotta can't win them all, guy. Yeah, that guy just Friday like, "Oh, still an opportunity to buy in."
But you see, the thing is like when I bought AMC initially, I bought a bunch of calls on it first, and when I bought it, I'd already made a few bucks. I think I made like 50 or 60% of the week prior. At that point, I wasn't like in for any squeeze or anything. I'm just like, look, AMC has seen a lot of retail action. Everything's like opening up again. Let's see if there's any, let's see how it goes. So I put a few bucks in there. I sold. And then I started like delving into the message boards, seeing, like there's a lot of momentum behind this whole AMC thing. And then again, I think the CEO was on the news talking about like how things are looking a lot better. They're trying to carry the company over. And I mean, another thing that we're leaving out is like when people buy the stocks, companies could issue more shares, dilute those shares, but then they're creating more of a cash influx for their company.
Yeah.
And so when AMC saw all this action back during the GameStop stuff, they got a huge cash infusion. Like they had a horrible balance sheet, and this was just like millions and millions of dollars they got. So that reopening, I mean, I feel like there's going to be like pent up demand for movies and stuff. So those three reasons coming together is why I was like, you know what, I'm going to go back into AMC. I bought more calls, but this time what I did was I sold a debit spread, and it's probably a little complicated to explain on the video. Nobody should be getting into options.
Yeah, we should maybe do that on the next video.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, we'll do debit spreads its own thing. We're throwing gamma squeezes at people. But yeah.
But basically what I did in a nutshell is I bought calls, but I kind of like hedged my risk by selling something underneath it. So it helps me, so I'm not going to lose all my money that I put out there, and I could kind of try and play it to maximize my profit while reducing my risk. Then everything happened, which has happened like over the past week. Shit started going crazy, like more than doubled the past week. So on Friday, what I did was I was like, you know what, screw it. Like, I don't think this was the squeeze. I think this was just the like the hype behind the squeeze.
Yeah.
That caused like these increases, these past few days. So that's why I was like, you know what, I'm going in. So when it ripped on Friday morning, I bought like 40 shares, and I held off a little bit, and then it went down to 25 or whatever it is that you said it ended. I forget.
Yeah, I think it's 25.
And I bought 60 more, and what I did was sold a covered call on it. So covered call again is another way to simply reduce your risk and try like finagle your way into maximizing your profit. And so we'll wait and see. It's gonna be
AMC's on the clock.
Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting Tuesday. And
especially it couldn't come at a better time, or some would say worse time, because Monday is Memorial Day. Shout out to all of our service members out there.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you for your service. But also that means the market is closed that day.
Yeah.
So you got all these apes fucking...
Yeah, bro, they're going wild waiting for Tuesday.
They're just jumping around the
room. And so why that's funny is because in Wall Street Bets, all the guys in there, they refer to themselves as just like retarded apes or autistic apes.
Oh,
no, that's
no, I know.
That's what they say. I'm not insensitive.
Using hard R. But it's a strong community. Same thing, like I've seen Dogecoin, it has one of the biggest communities I've seen. Dogecoin, GameStop, AMC. But then once you start, like, I suggest someone that's getting into stocks, like, start, even though I don't like Robinhood too much, like, start with your little Robinhood and, start with like 10, 20 bucks a piece. But then we have all of these other new platforms like Webull and things like that, where they have some comment sections. I suggest, I don't know if I said this. Yeah, I don't know if I've suggested this in other videos, but, join the Reddit communities, Wall Street Bets.
Discords.
Find some people on Twitter that have the same kind of likeness that you do. And, it gets interesting and fun. You start hearing from people that have been investing for a long time. Of course, you got little fucking Johnny fucking Appleseed, 9 years old, like faking like he's older, writing some bullshit comments about stocks and shit like that. So you got to really like weed out the people that are bullshitting. Like there's some people that just like to shit on stocks, like almost like trolls. Like they just find it funny to just come in like when a stock is hot and just be like, oh yeah, hold on to that bag and lose all your money.
You also got bots. Have you seen that shit?
Yeah, no, there's bots. Just like there's bots like that hate on LeBron James, and there's bots that hate on Trump, and bots that love Trump.
It's crazy too. Like you'll see in Wall Street Bets or Twitter, or, any other social media platforms, like just dudes just like that have like really generic looking photos saying like you were saying FUD about whatever stock or crypto is like hyped that week. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, the weird thing is you got to start thinking, who is the one behind the bots for this? Who really is it?
They started calling them hedgies in all the forums.
Yeah, because a lot of people say that. Yeah, it's JP Morganites,
Citadel, and what's the other one? Griffin. All those big, Steve Cohen. But
yeah. And did you know that the show Billions?
It was about
character's basis, right? Like the basis of one of the characters. Yeah. Okay, just wanted to.
The guy
shout that out in case people didn't know.
You know the guy from CNBC with the two different colored eyes?
No.
Andrew Ross Sorkin.
Okay.
So he used to be a writer for the New York Times, but he was like one of the head writers. I think he was a showrunner for Billions.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh wow. The more you know.
Just had a little Billions moment there.
Yeah, so I guess now that we talked about AMC a little bit, we could go back towards the crypto.
Yeah.
And we had some coins. Like we want to also explain. We don't want to throw too much information at you, but I guess maybe we do. But
maybe we are going to get a little complicated.
Yeah, but people can listen, get a lot of information out of it.
And I mean, obviously, everyone has Google. Like, if there's anything that we say that you don't really understand, you can always go to Google, just type it in, and try and back up your knowledge with some reading.
Yeah, and a lot of things are also fluid. Like they're changing all the time too. So something we say here might change in a week or two.
And aside from that, people should always do their own research, anyways.
Yeah, due diligence.
Yeah,
due diligence.
Do your DD. Don't listen to anybody. Not Elon, not Gene Simmons, not obviously not us.
Yeah. So it's going back to crypto. Like I think it was around January. I'm not sure the exact numbers, but Bitcoin had like a majority share of the market cap of the whole crypto space.
Okay.
Right? Now, since this whole huge rise that happened in March, April, through that whole time, it's noticed that kind of like the field took almost half now. So it's like Bitcoin's half, and then you got Ethereum, of course, is up top.
Yeah.
And some of the altcoins, like the altcoins grew and took a lot of Bitcoin's share.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is healthy for the for the evolution of crypto in general. But for now, crypto goes as Bitcoin goes. But the reason why I'm explaining this is because you have Ethereum, which is the number 2. And the reason why is because...
Said is number 2.
Yeah, it's the number 2.
It's a scam.
But the reason... It's actually a hustle, remember?
Oh, yeah,
it's a hustle. But the reason why that's important is because Ethereum is growing in popularity because they're built on a network where the transactions are more easily facilitated. And basically, that's how these cryptocurrencies are growing. And there's like, everyone's like, oh, why is there like a new coin every week? It's because this coin offers some solutions that they've found that were wrong with another coin. So a lot of times these people are building upon coins and fixing solutions. And instead of being like, oh, let's make Ethereum better, what they do is they're just like, oh no, let's make our own coin and make it more efficient and make it less transaction fees, you know. And
yeah, the gas fees and then all that shit.
Yeah, and then same thing like the mining. Like mining is a huge problem with some of the bigger coins because the carbon footprint. So a lot of these other coins, they're trying to find ways to, you know, mine it very easily and cloud-based mining and all these other things. So now that leads us to all these other coins that are like at $1, $2 right now, which are really like growing right now. Like we had in mind to speak about Cardano and XRP, and
EOS.
Yeah, you know EOS more, but these are some coins that are looked upon by seasoned cryptocurrency people as like the future. You know, like it's not big right now, but they're built for the long-term success.
Like how I've heard it compared is like, yeah, Henry Ford and Ford Motors, they were pioneers, but like now we drive Teslas. So like Bitcoin would be like the Ford. And then, you know, as technology progresses, as people are, you know, continue to innovate in the space, you know, years from now, we're probably going to have something that's much more efficient, something that, you know, the validation and the transactions get, you know, done in less than, 20, 30 minutes. You send Bitcoin, it's like a fucking half hour.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And the same thing, like, also the asset, there's like a comparison with the assets. Like they're saying like, you know, Bitcoin is more like gold and Ethereum is more like oil.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah, Bitcoin's definitely like a store of wealth. It's like the new savings account.
Yeah, and even though it's down drastically right now, it's still like I urge people, look at the charts in January. It's easy for people that missed out on making money with with crypto to be like, see, you should have put your money in crypto. You know, like that's their default, you know, like defense mechanism because they missed out on making all that money.
Yeah, I mean,
but if you look at January, you'll see where the market was at, and you know, it's still pretty healthy. And another thing that's weird about Dogecoin is like, yeah, you know, it's dropping down to 20, 30, 40. If you look at where Bitcoin was when it first hit 30, Bitcoin's dropped almost like 20%.
Yeah.
And Dogecoin's still kind of holding strong on that resistance. So, and essentially, it hasn't actually done that as bad as some other cryptocurrencies, you know?
I mean, but even if you look at the space as a whole, like we were saying earlier, like in December 2020, Dogecoin was not even a penny. And it hit 70 cents, like in the beginning of May. Almost hit 80 cents in the beginning of May.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I feel like certain people have gotten spoiled with the year in the markets of, you know, in 2020 when, like seriously, you could have been a monkey and made money in the stock market in 2020. You would just get like a notification of something going like 5-10%. You're like, oh, whatever, I'll just buy it.
It must be why I made some money.
Yeah. Everybody made money though. 2020 was amazing.
Yeah, I know some people that lost money.
Really?
Yeah.
What were they in?
They were just buying high and selling low, you know?
Oh, damn.
That's what. But speaking about what were they in, we have a couple stocks that we want to talk about to end the show. I know we've been going a little long. We've just been going at it on all the.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to talk about. But like again, you know, I'll remind everyone we're not financial advisors, but we have some stocks that we really like, especially right now with the huge hit the stock market has taken.
Yeah,
everything's pretty much on a bargain prices right now.
And aside from that, like if anybody's been following the market, you can totally tell that whole pivot that happened out of growth stocks into value. So basically, there's all the tech stocks, the big tech names. They're called growth stocks. The reason why they're called growth stocks is because if you look at their profit to the profit to earnings ratio, the multiple is like through the roof, and so they foresee the growth happening, you know, not immediately, but eventually. And that number is like a huge forecasting of what their earnings are going to be in, say, like 10, 20 years. So with everything happening with all the inflation and everything, a lot of those companies, you know, just got sold off like nobody's business. and people were going into more companies that are called value companies, like the legacy companies, like the consumer staples, the energy companies, the legacy companies like Ford, people going into airline stocks and stuff.
Blue chips.
Yeah. But within the last 2 weeks, like I was saying, I feel like there's definitely been like a recircling, and people are starting to go back into growth. Like if you look at all the big tech names, like they're all doing pretty well. You got like the meme stocks coming back now.
Yeah, the first one we wanted to talk about was Nano Dimensions. And it's a company that you were high on. I looked into it. It's basically like a really advanced 3D printing company that's trying to take the forefront in the industry. They've had a couple mergers recently. And what was the first one? There were two in like the span of a week.
Yeah, but, I forget. They acquired an AI company.
Yeah, the AI company. What it does is basically allows for the 3D printing to be facilitated by an AI type of based kind of like software where it knows what it needs to complete the project, and it just kind of like it runs on its own. And it also helps that they work on a network. So let's say if you have like a factory of like 3D printing AI robots, like it can communicate with itself and complete project on its own based on what it needs. So it kind of like cuts people out and things like that. So now when you add that kind of software to, it wasn't like MindCube or something like that, right? I think so. But anyway, so now they acquired this company that has like patented software and things like that. So now you have these 3D printing robots that can work on AI, right? Then the second company that they acquired was
Micromechanics.
The second one, I think that was the first one, no?
Let's see here.
But the second company, I know that it's basically 3D printing, but they have like a patent on like a really like tiny size laser.
Is it the Nanofabrica?
Yeah, that's the second company. Nanofabrica is the one that they specialize in printing like electrical wiring and shit like that. So now they have 3D printing that can do electrical wiring. And I remember I was reading up on the laser. The laser can go down to like fucking like 2 like micrograms or something, some crazy shit like that. We can't even.
Oh yeah,
fathom.
Deepcube was the name.
Deepcube was the AI company. Yeah. So now you put those 3 companies together, and they merge them. Now you have this like mega conglomerate of 3D printing, which we're not even ready to handle it yet. But let's say in 10 years, they could be the next fucking like top dog, And
it says here that the AI demonstrates 10 times speed improvements and memory reduction, making it the only technology which allows efficient deployment of deep learning models on edge devices for real-time applications.
Yeah. So let's say now this company is able to like make a factory of like fucking 3D printing. It could print whatever the fuck it wants, and it learns. And, it's like a fucking like you have a factory with no people in it. It just learns what it's got to do and like starts printing shit.
Shit's getting scary, man.
Yeah, it is really scary because
yeah,
God knows what are you gonna use that for?
Well,
they're gonna make stormtroopers.
But if they got robots that are fucking doing this shit, like certainly they're gonna have robots that can like make hamburgers and like fucking.
Well, they have those like arms now that they sell that make like the fries. And
you see like the one that flips the burgers and shit.
No, I haven't seen that, but I'm sure there's some people out there that'll buy one that'll wipe their ass, right?
But like the thing is like which way does it go? Does everything like just go to the place that some people think it's gonna go, and like nobody has jobs and you're just given money from the government to go shopping?
I mean, I know a lot of people out there that enjoyed their unemployment. So,
but bro, like
maybe they're just getting people settled, because the way it is, like a lot of people that are for the universal income, they're like, oh, it's socialism. Not really. The people that are trying to set this up is because they know what's coming with all the AI-based, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. Like 80% of people are going to lose their jobs.
Absolutely.
In the next 20 years, something like that.
And even within the next, I think it was 2025 or 2030, Andrew Yang said like, it was like 40 to 60% of jobs making under $15 an hour will be AI-based by 2025 or 2030.
Yeah, I know. I run a storage company like as my day job, and basically at my building, the only reason I took it is because it's Bluetooth and everything. It's like top of the line.
Yeah,
and I don't have to cut any locks and shit like that, which I had left storage because it's so annoying. But I took this one. I'm like, yeah, Bluetooth. I don't got to lock up any units. It locks itself, whatever.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, most of the work there can be automated. The only reason they need someone there now, and it's the reason why before there used to be 4 people in a storage facility. Now there's only 2,
That's wild.
It's because you could do your rental online. You could come in and set up the app on your phone. Really, the only reason we're there is either to catch if someone's like renting a unit every month and getting a free month, that's called in the industry it's called the okie doke, but I think that's more of like a Philly thing because our regional manager's from Philly, but they're like, oh, we call it okie doke. I'm like,
hashtag industry terms.
Yeah. So you're either looking for that, and then obviously to sell. You're selling. You're doing the contract, but again, the contracts and the selling can be done. If a company was comfortable, they could set up a video online, a virtual tour. I mean, I see it, like you could just do the contract, e-sign.
Do you guys get commissions for that?
Yeah, we get commissions.
I mean, that's a great incentive to go there and be good at it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's what you're aiming for, high numbers and things like that. But basically what I'm saying is it's already crept into the storage industry, fast food industry, and those are some of the biggest industries in the market. Like
Walmart has the self-checkout shit. I love that.
Yeah. Self-checkout is great.
Start fucking
I just don't like
taping filet mignons to fucking bags of potato chips and shit.
I don't like the tone that thing has with me though. Sometimes when it's like, put it in the bag, and I'm like, fuck this bitch.
Yeah, she's pretty demanding.
Yeah, but aside from that, you could see why like getting into stocks and like it's not just like, oh, let me put my money in Apple, let me put, like you learn about these companies that give you insight into what's going to happen in the future, and it makes it very easy for you to throw your money in them. Yeah. And let's say you're not going to make double your money this month, but in 3 years you might make 450% of what your money is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And look, I mean, everybody has a different goal when it comes to investing. You could want to get in and get out on a stock. Just make your money, scalp some gains, and like, I'm done with it. But there's a difference between trading and investing. So,
be done with it. But okay, so the second company is, and it's that acquisition company you like.
Yeah. It's the Origin Materials SPAC target. It's the Arcius Acquisitions. Blank check company.
Yeah.
Basically, they're a carbon zero, like alternative materials company. You have Nestle, Danone, and PepsiCo that they invested in like this natural bottle alliance. Basically, it's like alternatives to the plastics that are currently made now with petroleum byproducts. They're all organic, so which is great because I think it's more than half of the fossil fuels that we drill or whatever we do frack for is used for plastic products and consumer products, and the other half is gas and shit like that. So I mean, if we could start cutting that type of shit out, that would be great. And this company announced that the merger was supposed to take place in the second quarter of 2021. We're nearing the end of that. They already signed all the deals and everything. Right now we're just waiting for the merger date. It's AACQ. If you guys want to check it out and take a look. I myself bought a few calls. They were very low implied volatility, so it was $10 for a decent call. Very minimal movement is needed for you to get a high profit on that. If it moves 3%, you're doubling your money. So take a look at that and see what you think.
Yeah, so that's a good one. If you guys are interested, look into these companies.
Just forgot one thing. The calls, the expiration is June 18th. I think the strike was $10, and it was at $9.95 when I bought it. So, still a good deal.
Yeah, and so we'll run down this list. I know the next one is Riot Blockchain. A lot of people are interested in that. I personally was telling you that I'm looking into blockchain, like development apps, and things like that. And basically, not to get too off course, but basically, so people know what blockchain is. It's basically what cryptocurrencies use to
decentralize things.
it keeps track of, all the transactions, who owned it. It can't be altered.
Yeah.
So this is the way, like, let's say, just to put it simply, like, like when you put your money in the bank just holds your money. And then people are like, oh, why can't you make this simpler? Which is kind of the way cryptocurrency is born. And it's also not controlled. But blockchain was the answer how you can do that. Because let's say if you just put your money on a website, a hacker could come and just take all your money and, like, there's no way to keep track of it. So blockchain was the answer of setting that up. So basically this blockchain, what it does is, like, when you have this one coin, it sends to everyone on the network, like, pretty much what the transaction was. Like, you received the coin, the wallet.
Yeah.
So let's say even if a hacker hacks you, all the other computers in the network have a validation that
it's all done with, like, obviously the craziest cryptography ever, so that nobody could ever, like, try and duplicate a coin, steal a coin. That's why it's called cryptocurrency. Obviously, everything is backed up with cryptography, like, which you would have to spend billions upon billions of dollars. And it would be near impossible.
You'd have to hack everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd have to hack everyone with the file on the network.
Yeah.
But aside from that, so basically, just not to get too complicated in it, that's what happens. So let's say you have a change to it. There's a block here, and then it changed to the next block, and then it changed to the next block. So essentially, if you wanted to hack everyone, you'd have to go and change the block on everyone's computer. So that's why there's no way of fucking with blockchain.
Yeah, it's like it keeps people honest.
Yeah. And basically, this company has garnered a lot of interest, and you had something to say a little bit about the...
Yeah. So the two biggest Bitcoin miners in North America, specifically Riot. Riot's huge. I think they have, like, after they just acquired Whitestone, I think they have like 65% of all mining capacity in North America. And Riot and Marathon Digital Group, they're not too far behind them. Both of these companies were around $3 at the end of 2020. I've seen them go up to $80, come back down, and they're both sitting at around 20 to mid 20, I think, right now, because they just had a little bit of a pullback on Friday when crypto fell from everybody going into the meme stocks. So I've been loading up. I'll take the short-term losses for those gains that I hope are going to come later. But yeah. I was in there at the $3. I sold when it got, towards the top. It pulled back a little bit. I got out of it because, after we had that pivot out of growth, it seemed like Bitcoin kept going up, but the miners kept going down. So I'm taking this opportunity to enter into the position, and we'll see how it goes.
What was that meme with Bernie Sanders? Is the governor?
Which one?
You just reminded me when you said I'm taking this opportunity, but it was like the commercial of him, and he's like, "I'm asking you to donate again" or something.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
It sounded like what you said. But aside from that, we have our next stock, which this is one that I already made a nice flip on. Like maybe I think it was like 2 months ago, but it's Skills.
Yeah.
And basically, this one's a little simple one. With the influx of interest in, like, iGaming and gaming in general, this company jumped ahead, and you've probably seen their commercials many times when you're playing any kind of, like, phone game and haven't even realized it. But they specialize in these games where you can, like, bet actual money, and on basic games like blackjack and like solitaire and things like that, or that, like, you've seen that goes like, I got a check for bowling, and like whatever, and it's always the same people, but it's like different games, and you're like, these motherfuckers didn't win this shit. But those are the people that's Skills, and a lot of huge investors have really been impressed with them.
One in specific, Kathy Wood. She has, if you guys are familiar with ARK Invest, if you're not, quick rundown. This woman started a company out of Arkansas, just like Elon, Chamath, and some of the other guys, got really huge among the Wall Street Bets community. Kathy Wood did as well. So she's very much behind Skills. The more it falls, the more she keeps buying. So hopefully we see something good out of that one. But, if you look at the consensus price targets right now, I think every consensus price target is above where it is currently. So that's another one. Any dip that it takes, I'm again taking the opportunity to buy more. Because, look, like,
the tech stocks are pivoting. It's getting bullish again. Like it's only a matter of time before it's back up there. And even if we take a little bit of a hit for the rest of 2021 or until this inflation thing cools down, eventually, like, technology is not regressing.
You want to be in on the ride way up, like on the way up. So, even if it does go down any further, like you've seen where it's at. That's the same thing like when the pandemic hit and I first got, I got into investing last year, but actually 2 years ago. But last year when it was around the time for the pandemic, that's what I was telling people. I'm like, look, this is going to go down because the market's doing really bad. You can look to the past where it was at and you can make your own inference of like where it's going to shoot back up to, so that's why I invested in Bank of America. Mm-hmm. A lot of these companies that were really low, they were over 50% and they shot right up and I doubled my money easily, Same thing like this company. I made some money before on Activision, which is another
Activision Blizzard. Yeah.
Activision Blizzard. They're huge, a good company, a gaming company. A lot of these people, I don't know what they see, but
Teladoc?
Maybe there's Teladoc. I made a lot of money on.
Everybody's bullish on Teladoc right now at the price that they're at.
Yeah, it shot back down because everything opened up
50% from its highs.
Yeah, and that was one of my biggest ones because Teladoc is a company that's like teleconferencing for doctors. Obviously, it's like pretty.
Yeah, e-medicine's not going away.
Yeah, so when the pandemic hit, I did that. I did was it eSign the DocuSign.
Yeah.
That was another one I invested in all during the pandemic, and I made a lot of money. That's what I use now to invest in crypto and stuff like that.
That's another stock that took a big hit with the growth shit, but DocuSign's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
because like the consumer will dictate that is the more convenient way to do all that shit.
Yeah, for sure. And markets are allowing it. Before real estate, you couldn't do that. Now they allow to send, we have our own software that they use that is allowed by certain MLSs, that can sign documents, even like, CIS forms, even contracts. You can, it has its own protocol to validate that the person signed it. And yeah, it's way more convenient for everyone, especially during the pandemic. That's why it was so big, because a lot of people, they were trying to limit their exposure. So it kind of allowed the law to allow that kind of shit. Yeah. And then once they did it, then they're like,
they couldn't tell them they can't do it.
Yeah.
They're not going to put that cap out in the back in the bag.
But the thing is, once they did it, they're like, this is great.
Yeah.
This is great. Like one person I know in my brokerage, they're like, I sold a house and I didn't even meet the person. I just,
That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, they're like, this is the best shit ever because they don't like people, but they're real estate agents. So, but
more, less energy, less time, more money.
You're sitting at home in your shorts selling houses.
This leads back to the shit that we were talking about. Like, are people just going to be sitting at home collecting checks because everything is so fucking efficient that like, you don't have to do anything?
Exactly. I just send someone to do a virtual tour of a listing. Set up the website and set up the advertising, set up an open house, and, someone else wants to do the open house for me for my listing. They'll do it. They'll get the leads. My house gets sold. I e-sign everything. And
speaking of real estate, did you ever take a look at that company I mentioned the other day, United Wholesale Mortgage?
No, I did not.
It's a good one.
United Wholesale Mortgage. Put that on your list.
Yeah, UWMC is the ticker. I like it. Not only is it obviously a good stock to own right now while the real estate market is hot, but there's a lot of retail momentum behind it. It's got a small float and it's not expensive. So if you want to get in, get out, make a quick flip, I think that's probably a good target.
Yeah. And aside from that, we have a few others we want to get through. You have Virgin Galactic on here.
Yeah, that's another one that just took off with the meme stocks.
Yeah, that is one of the ones I was mentioning that pretty much considered a meme stock now.
Yeah.
So much so that even their like loyal base is angry that people are gonna start shorting it, and there's a lot of options activity on it already, heavy options activity.
Yeah.
So,
but you see, like, I feel like the retail traders, specifically like the Wall Street Bets crew, like gets behind these stocks because like they're so heavily shorted and there's no real rhyme or reason to it. Like they just single out these companies and like try to like cost people money essentially just because they want to make money, And like in terms of GameStop and AMC, these are like companies that a lot of people work for. They could essentially be costing people jobs,
Yeah. Definitely.
Wall Street doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, it is like I was saying before, insidious in some ways. You know, like
Yeah.
A lot of things that they don't see, they don't care. But like you said, that affects people. You know, there's people who put their life savings into these companies.
That too.
You know, and like they rightfully, the company's doing well and they should be making money.
Yeah.
And then they just get fucking no lube. You know, like no lube.
Yep.
By
So
a hedge fund.
So always be careful, like any news that you see on any mainstream media. I mean, you should do it regardless, not for just business news, but you know, especially for business news, I feel like there's a lot more incentive to be dishonest, because you know all the media in our country is owned by like 5 companies. You know, a lot of big money invests.
They have their
obviously.
own agendas.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, speaking about agendas, we're gonna get a lot of our vegan listeners excited right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the next company we have is Beyond Meat.
Yep.
And I wanted to tack on there one that was just brought to my attention. It's actually a new company called Oatly.
Yeah, that's a good one. They went public like 2 weeks ago.
They just went public. Yeah. And Beyond Meat, what are your thoughts on them?
So look, to be honest, I really don't like the company that much, but it's got super high short interest, and the float is decent. Also got targeted by the Wall Street Bets crew. Even Kramer's pushing this shit too. Like he was saying, like, I'm not sure. Do you watch Mad Money?
No, not really.
So dude was just saying, like, basically, like, these people who are shorting these stocks now are retarded. Like, they keep going into these stocks knowing what's going to happen, and they wound up costing themselves billions of dollars. The AMC shorts, I think they lost over $1 billion this week alone.
See, but that's where I'm saying, like, why would they pick that again, knowing what happened last time? Like, there's got to be some kind of, like, shit that we don't know. We don't see it where they're winning in the end because, you know, they're pretty much got more control than us. You know, it's like a, you know, like someone fighting a boxer.
Yeah.
You know, like they've got all these extra tools, extra like rules to help them.
They know everything. Yeah.
Yeah. They know all the ropes. Like there must be something we're not seeing where we think they're losing $1 billion.
And they're making $3 billion.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they're like laughing, like, "Oh, look at these guys! They put their money in." And
I mean, this goes back to what we were saying earlier. Like, the institutionals certainly have long positions on these stocks too. Like, I mean, what was it, like 200 or whatever million call options? That's not coming from just retail. So, could it be the same institutions doing 2 different things? Who knows? Like, people do hedge, but you could also have institutions pitting against each other. You know, but yeah, it's definitely institutional money like behind some of these long positions in addition to the shorts. But to go, you know, back to why they're doing it, I don't know. You know, could be hedging. They could be just like fucking trying to foment hatred against certain companies to like rile up. And obviously people have said Wall Street Bets have definitely been infiltrated by institutionals.
Imagine being on the board of some of these companies and you're just like, you're literally like taken hostage, you know, like because you're in the board meetings and you're just like looking at like what's going on. You're like, what the fuck? Like where are we going to be at tomorrow? Where are we at with the budget? You know, and then the next day your fucking shares shoot up to 300 and then you're fucking like planning vacations and shit.
Yeah, you know, it's got to be crazy because like when you're like C-suite for these companies, you have to do all those filings before you can sell shares. So you can't like do it suddenly.
Yeah.
So you're fucking like you become like a billionaire and can't do anything about it. Could you imagine?
Yeah, it's like I heard the next short squeeze is on a Triotonic podcast. Yeah, and then aside from that, the last one we want to end off on, it's been a good episode 32.
Yep. The last one is...
But, before we do the last one, we have our sponsors that we want to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have our sponsor here, Premier Rank Marketing. If you have any business that needs any kind of marketing, whether it be ads on Google, Facebook, TikTok, landing pages, if you need websites, they don't do any printed promo material because then, you know, you get into some tax areas there, some sales tax issues. So we're trying to avoid that. But yeah, anything digital, we got you. So
keep it digital.
PremierRankMarketing.com. Reach out to me. I can get you a discount, 20% off. Just tell them you listen to Triotonic Podcast. and you get 20% off any package.
Tell them Triotonic sent you.
Yeah, tell them Triotonic sent you. And also the second sponsor is Rick's Barbershop here in Garfield. If anyone is local and needs a fresh cut, especially with this pandemic, a lot of people have been just letting the hair go. You know,
I know. I wound up just going to somebody's backyard.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah. So Rick's Barbershop will take care of you. Also, let them know Triotonic. Well, you could tell him Jose sent you because
that's his brother.
Yeah, that's my brother, who is a very what do you call it? Generous sponsor of the show. So we appreciate that. But yeah, those are our sponsors, and to end off the show. What is it to
cap off?
No. What's that famous clip to send me off? Where he's like,
what?
Who is it? That guy that he gets really pissed off. The news anchor guy, Bill O'Reilly.
Oh, yeah. His outburst.
Yeah. What does he say? He's
I forget.
But anyway,
that guy's a horse of a different color.
Yeah, to send us off on this episode, we have the last company, which is PaySafe. And I know Andrew has some thoughts on this company.
Yeah. I mean, just like you were saying, like with e-gaming, that's a company that's going to grow substantially within the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
All the in-app purchases and everything.
Well, I think they like to call it iGaming, because it's like I guess the in-app purchases.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, I guess they're not nitpicking or anything.
No,
but
yeah.
E-gaming is more like computer.
Okay. All right. All right.
iGaming. I think it's stupid too, but just saying.
Well, games on your phone.
Yeah.
Just games on your phone and stuff like that. Mobile gaming.
The table just got mad creaky
mobile
all of a sudden. Yeah.
Aside from that, they also do they work with a lot of crypto exchanges. Some other companies they settle payments for. What they basically are is like they're the back end to all these payment systems, facilitating the payments for all these companies, the crypto exchanges and the gaming, like we were saying. But I think they're right around $10 right now. A lot of growth in that industry. It's a decent company, I think. It's another one taking opportunities. So yeah.
Yeah, it's been a great episode. We appreciate you guys. Some people might have not stuck with it. If you're still here, we appreciate you.
Yeah, it's been a long one. Yeah. We got pretty hairy on this one.
But now we're getting some ideas. Midway through the episode, I didn't get to say it, but maybe we can do like another episode on like the top 10 investors that we like. Being that you mentioned Kathy Wood, and so it gives some people some direction who to start following.
Yep.
Who we like. What they're big on and things like that. Maybe we could do a little episode on that. We could do an episode focused more on like options.
Yep. And if anybody has any ideas or questions, you can leave it in the comments, and we'll be sure to take a look. And
give this, if you like making money, just hit the like button on this video, and also subscribe and hit the notification bell. And it's been fun. We got the new lights here. We don't know how it's gonna look.
Yep.
But hopefully
it doesn't look like Amsterdam.
Yeah. Hopefully we're not on the red light district.
Yeah.
But all right. Thanks so much, guys, for checking.
Thanks for listening.
And we'll see you on the next episode. Scottie Pippen. Later.